What if the greatest knowledge humanity ever possessed was destroyed in a single night? The Library of Alexandria wasn't just a building with books. It was humanity's first true attempt to gather all knowledge in one place. Medicine, astronomy, mathematics, philosophy, everything that made us human. Scholars traveled across continents just to study there. At its height, the library contained over 500,000 scrolls. Every ship that docked in Alexandria was searched for books, which were confiscated, copied, and added to the collection. The originals were often never returned. But then came the fire, or rather fires, because contrary to popular belief, the library wasn't destroyed in a single catastrophic event. Its demise was slower, more tragic. The first blow came in 48 BCE when Julius Caesar set fire to enemy ships in Alexandria's harbor. The flames spread, destroying part of the library and thousands of scrolls. Over the next 400 years, the library suffered from neglect, budget cuts, and religious conflicts. Knowledge was being lost piece by piece. The final destruction came in 391 CE when Emperor Theodosius ordered the demolition of pagan temples, including the Serapeum, which housed what remained of the library's collection. But here's the question that haunts historians. What exactly did we lose? What knowledge, what discoveries, what secrets of the ancient world were reduced to ash and forgotten forever? The answer is more disturbing than you might think. We know we lost works on advanced mathematics and astronomy that wouldn't be rediscovered for centuries. Archimedes' treatises on mechanics and engineering vanished, works that might have advanced technology by centuries. Imagine where we might be if the Industrial Revolution had happened in 500 CE instead of 1800. The medical knowledge alone was staggering. Alexandria's physicians performed surgeries that wouldn't be attempted again until the 19th century. They understood the circulation of blood 1,800 years before William Harvey. We lost entire civilizations from our historical record. The histories of the Etruscans, the Phoenicians, the Carthaginians, entire peoples known to us now only through the accounts of their enemies or from archaeological fragments, their own voices silenced forever. Of the approximately 120 plays written by Sophocles, only 7 survive complete. Aeschylus wrote 90 plays. We have just 7. Euripides wrote 92. Only 19 remain. Imagine losing 95% of Shakespeare's works. But it gets worse. Aristarchus of Samos proposed a heliocentric model of the solar system, with the Earth revolving around the Sun in the 3rd century BCE. This knowledge was lost and wouldn't be rediscovered until Copernicus, 1,800 years later. The mathematician Hypatia was murdered by a mob in 415 CE. With her died centuries of mathematical knowledge. Some historians believe she was close to discoveries that wouldn't be made again until the 17th century. Eratosthenes not only calculated Earth's circumference with astonishing accuracy in 240 BCE, but created detailed world maps. Most of his geographical works were lost, possibly setting exploration back by centuries. There's evidence the library contained information on early electrical experiments. What if this knowledge hadn't been lost? Think about it. Without the destruction of Alexandria, we might have avoided the Dark Ages entirely. Human progress might be centuries ahead of where we are now. But here's the most chilling part. We don't even know what we don't know. There are entire fields of study, whole branches of science that might have existed, that were wiped out so completely, we don't even know they're missing. What would you save? If you were in Alexandria as the flames approached, which knowledge would you try to save? Medicine that could save millions? Technology that could advance civilization? Or the voices of lost peoples who would otherwise be forgotten? Not all is lost, though. Modern archaeology occasionally uncovers fragments of what was destroyed. In Herculaneum, carbonized scrolls preserved by the eruption of Vesuvius are being read using new technology. X-ray imaging and AI are helping us read scrolls too damaged to unroll. Each discovery gives us a tiny glimpse of what was lost, like finding a single puzzle piece from a million-piece puzzle. In 2002, a new Library of Alexandria was inaugurated, a modern wonder designed to recapture the spirit of the original. It houses millions of books and a vast digital archive, but can never recover what was truly lost in the flames. The tragedy of Alexandria has repeated throughout history. The burning of books in Nazi Germany, the destruction of the Library of Baghdad by Mongol invaders, the loss of Maya codices by Spanish conquistadors. Even today, our knowledge remains vulnerable, not to fire, but to digital decay, cyber attacks, and technological obsolescence. The Library of Alexandria teaches us our most important lesson: knowledge is precious and fragile. What took centuries to discover can be destroyed in moments, and some things, once lost, may never be found again. So what can we learn from this ancient tragedy that still applies today? First, never store all knowledge in one place. The library's centralization was its greatest strength and fatal weakness. Today's digital archives are distributed globally with multiple backups, a lesson learned from Alexandria. Second, knowledge survives through sharing, not hoarding. Alexandria's scholars kept knowledge behind walls. The works that survived antiquity were those widely copied and distributed. Today's open-access scientific journals and digital archives follow this principle. Third, translation is preservation. Many Greek texts survived only in Arabic translations. Today, AI is making knowledge accessible across language barriers. Finally, preservation requires constant effort. The library didn't burn in a day. It declined through neglect before the fires. Digital archives face similar challenges of maintenance, format migration, and funding that never ends. But perhaps the greatest loss from Alexandria wasn't specific knowledge, but time. Centuries of progress that had to be rediscovered. Imagine where humanity might be if we hadn't lost those centuries. If the scientific revolution had happened in 500 CE instead of 1500 CE, would we already be among the stars? Would disease be conquered? Would clean energy be the norm? We'll never know exactly what was lost when Alexandria burned, but we can ensure it never happens again. In our digital age, we're building a new Library of Alexandria, one that spans the entire planet, that can't be destroyed by a single fire or zealot. But it requires our vigilance, our support, and our commitment to preserve knowledge for generations yet unborn. The ancient scholars of Alexandria would recognize what we're building, and perhaps they would be proud. From the ashes of Alexandria, a lesson emerges. Knowledge is our most precious inheritance. What will you do to preserve it? Comment below with which lost knowledge from Alexandria you wish had survived. And remember, every time you share knowledge, you're helping build a library that can never burn. The library's greatest treasure wasn't scrolls. It was the gathering of minds from across the ancient world. Today's global scientific community carries that legacy forward. Modern technology is helping us recover fragments of lost knowledge. Each discovery is like finding a missing piece of our collective past. The destruction of Alexandria didn't just destroy answers. It destroyed questions we no longer know to ask. Entire branches of knowledge may have been pruned from humanity's tree of understanding. Some historians believe we're still rediscovering knowledge that was common in Alexandria. Each time we think we've made a breakthrough, we may actually be remembering what was once known and forgotten. Knowledge has always faced threats, from flames in Alexandria to digital decay today. Yet somehow, the most essential ideas find ways to survive across millennia. Perhaps the true legacy of Alexandria isn't the specific knowledge it contained, but the idea that humanity's wisdom belongs to everyone, that it should be gathered, protected, and shared. The story of Alexandria's destruction isn't just about the past. It's a warning for our future. Will we protect the knowledge we've painfully accumulated, or let it burn again in different ways? When you look up at the stars tonight, remember, ancient Alexandrian astronomers gazed at those same stars and understood more about them than we realized. Their knowledge was lost, then found again, through humanity's endless cycle of discovery. One flame destroyed Alexandria, but it takes just one flame of curiosity passed from person to person to keep knowledge alive forever. If the scholars of Alexandria could see our world today, they would recognize the internet as the library they tried to build. Knowledge from every corner of the world, accessible to all. But they would also warn us of its fragility. The threats have changed, from fire and religious zealotry to digital decay and cyber attacks. But the danger remains. Knowledge can still be lost if we don't protect it. The true power of Alexandria wasn't in the scrolls themselves, but in the minds that read them. Knowledge isn't just stored, it's lived, applied, and passed on. Each of us is a living library, carrying what we've learned. Today, we build modern versions of Alexandria, seed vaults, digital archives, time capsules on the moon. We've learned the lesson. Sometimes knowledge isn't truly lost. It's just waiting to be rediscovered. The human mind has reinvented what was forgotten, following the same paths of logic and observation that led to discovery the first time. The Library of Alexandria isn't just a tragedy from the past, it's a mission for our future. We are all custodians of humanity's knowledge now. Every book you preserve, every fact you share, every story you pass on, you're helping rebuild what was lost in those ancient flames. The greatest tragedy of Alexandria isn't what was lost, it's that we allowed it to happen. Let's ensure that when future generations look back, they'll see us as the ones who protected knowledge, not the ones who let it burn. From the ashes of the greatest library ever built, we've learned our most important lesson. Knowledge belongs to everyone, to every generation, forever, and it's worth fighting to protect. Share this video to help preserve the memory of Alexandria, and tell us below, what knowledge do you think was lost that you wish had survived?